Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave. I hope you're doing well. Bing. I got a voice message. Yay! So a bonus episode going out to my new podcast friend and family member of the How to Podcast series, Anthony Vivino, sent me a message, and I am excited. I played it over and over again. I love hearing from you guys. I love getting messages back from you and hearing how the podcast is helping you in your journey and where you're at, and that you're finding inspiration. And not only did Anthony leave me a kind message, I went and listened to his show, and you need to do that as well. And he actually gave me a shout out in his first episode. And I'm like, okay, this guy is amazing. So if you're looking for a great new podcast, first of all, I want to share with you the message that he left for me on my howtopodcast.ca website. There's a little speak pipe icon. You can do this. I know you can do this because you're super talented. So you can go try this too, and I'll make an episode just for you. Come on, try it. I dare you. And leave me a message and tell me about your show, and let's promote your podcast right here on the podcast. You are surrounded by friends. We've saved a chair for you here at the How to Podcast series. We want to see you do well. So if you're looking to connect with some of the best podcasters in the world, yes, in the world, if you hang around here for any length of time, you're going to meet some of the best people ever, including Anthony. So here's Anthony's message that he left me on SpeakPipe on my website, howtopodcast.ca. Here's Anthony's message. You ready? Yeah, here we go.
Take 97. Hello, this is Anthony with the Have You Ever Wondered What Happened podcast. Hi, Dave. I'm reaching out to you based on your podcast, the How To Podcast series. I love your show. Yeah! It's a daily part of my commute and has been instrumental in the launch of my podcast, the Have You Ever Wondered What Happened podcast. I've got it on Spotify and Amazon right now. I will be expanding that out to include iTunes and all those other things that you recommend in your series. But I thought I'd stop over. I've heard you talk about SpeakPipe, so I thought I'd pop on over and say hello, invite you over to listen to my show, and maybe we could coordinate that I could either interview you on my show or maybe I could be a co-host on yours. But either way, thank you for your podcast. I really appreciate it. Like I said, been a daily part of my listen on my commute and instrumental in the production of my podcast. Have a wonderful day and a better tomorrow.
Thank you, Anthony. That was so kind of you. Thank you for leaving me that message. And yeah, if you're looking for a great new podcast, Anthony's doing a great job. His podcast sounds great. He's well thought out, variety of different topics, and very interesting. So it makes you think. And I love podcasts that make me think. And you definitely do a great job of that. So in episode 1, Anthony went far and beyond by actually giving me a little shout out and the podcast here and all of you a shout out on his episode. So here's the beginning part of episode 1. His introduction to the podcast and a little bit about who he is. So I'll just give you a little snippet of it. I want you to go listen to it on his channel because he deserves that listen and that stat from you. So I'll have links in the show notes for you to go find his podcast. But I would love for you to go and check this out. But here's a little clip from Anthony's episode 1 of his podcast. And this is the Have You Ever Wondered What Happened podcast. And here's Anthony.
Hello, my name is Anthony. You are listening to the Have You Ever Wondered What Happened podcast. The goal here is to answer questions for those who are curious and to spark curiosity in the minds of those who are not, who may be listening. Have you ever wondered? Let's get started. Welcome to the podcast. This is episode number 1, the first of many to come. And from what I've heard from other podcasters, it will probably be the hardest one of all the episodes that I'll produce. The Have You Ever Wondered podcast is going to be about things that pique my curiosity that I think others will be interested in as well. So let's start with who this podcast is for. Yes. Or I could answer that as option D, all of the above, that infamous option in multiple choice examinations. Where am I coming from on this? Well, I've listened to all of the theys on the internet. Funny thing about the internet, though. It's like being from a small town in southeast Idaho and asking someone for directions in Brooklyn, New York because you're lost and trying to get somewhere. The first person you ask says, take the red line, the number 2 or 3. To get on that, go down 3 blocks, turn left. Take the steps down into the subway, get on the train and go, about 5 stops. That'll be Flatbush. Transfer over to the Orange Line D, and that'll take you right to Coney Island. You can't miss it. As you're spinning with this information, you ask another person and they give you directions to take the bus because it's a lot easier in their mind. Someone else is listening in and says, hey, buddy, you ain't from around here. I'd recommend you get in a taxi cab and just say Coney Island and try to say it like me, see? There are lots of ways to get somewhere and everyone has their thoughts on which way is best. The internet is the same way and there is a lot of information out there. So, after listening to many people, I'm going to follow my heart on this one and go with the one that rang the truest. There's a great podcast series out there called the How To Podcast Series by Dave Campbell. Yeah! In one of his episodes, he said something to the effect of, do the podcast for somebody like you. So, if I'm me, then I want to talk about things that pique my curiosity in a few different areas that I'd like to talk about. I'll outline all of these things on my website, www.haveyouvewonderedwhathappened.com. But to nutshell it here, it'll go like this. The subjects, at least how I am envisioning things at this point in time, are crime stories, conspiracy subjects, products, scientific discoveries and inventions, and maybe religion as well. Crime stories that at one point were big in the headlines and then gone for whatever reason only big media understands. This one factors a little bit into how this podcast came about.
So there's a little bit from Anthony from a show. Make sure you go check it out. All the information, as always, in the show notes. And you can go there and click the links and go check out the podcast. Anthony, we really need to work with you to get on all the other apps. I would love to see you on Apple and on what is Google right now, which is going away, but you should still be there. On Google, on all of the players, so that we can all find you and be a part of your community. And if you need help, Anthony, with that, let me know. I would love to do a screen share with you, set you up on all the different players, and get your message out there. But great job. You've started. You have 4 episodes at the time that I've seen while I'm recording this. Congratulations on your new podcast. And if you're thinking, I don't know if I can really do this, I don't know if I have the right skills and talents and ability, you're at the right place. Where other podcasts about podcasting call you a pal, a pod pal, I call you a pod family. We're not just pals, we're family here on the How to Podcast series, and I would love to connect with you and help you with your show. So whether you're looking for help setting up your podcast from the beginning and you just need somebody to walk with you through the steps, I would love to do that. I would love to help you grow your show and give you some practical ways that you can grow. Maybe you're looking to make some money with your podcast. I have some ways to help you with that as well. So however you're wanting to work on your show, I'm here to help you, and our community is here to help you. And if you're looking for free coaching, because, hey, it's expensive to hire these coaches and they charge you thousands and thousands of dollars to have time in their calendar, go back through the episodes here on the How to Podcast series. Listen to voices of other podcasters just like you and learn from them and learn from their journey as they grow and as they implement and become better podcasters. And if you would love to come on and be a co-host on my show, Anthony will be coming on in the future. I would love to have you reach out to me. howtopodcast.ca is the website. And when you go to the website, scroll all the way down to the bottom and you will see all of my free resources. that I use when I make my podcast. So if money's an issue, use this podcast as a way to learn and grow. This can become your school where you can learn and go to class and get some great information that you can apply directly to your podcast. And use that as a resource, but then go to the bottom of my website. And those are tools that are free for you to use. I don't make any money off any of these tools because they're free. And I want you to have no excuse financially for starting your podcast. And whatever the other reason is that maybe is keeping you from starting, you and I together can work through that. And I can help you to get to the next spot on your podcast journey, whatever that is. And I'd love to be there for you and help you with that. So again, we're not just pals, we're family here on the How to Podcast series. And I'm looking forward to connecting with you. So if you're interested, on my website, you can actually book time with me. You can get in touch with me and leave me a message, just like Anthony did. I will make you a little mini episode just like this so we can promote your podcast and promote you and get you in front of this podcast family here at the How to Podcast series, because we're here, all of us are committed to your success and to see your podcast grow. That's why we do this. That's why we're here. And that's why I'm glad you're here. So let's help each other. Okay. Here's the ending of Anthony's podcast, and we'll use that to take us out of the episode. Again, thank you for being here, Anthony. Thank you for your message. You made my week. I really appreciate it. Talk soon.
Have a wonderful rest of your day and a happy, joyful life. With that, I'm going to close out and wish you a wonderful rest of your day or night, as the case may be. Thank you for listening. This has been an episode of the Have You Ever Wondered What Happened podcast. My name is Anthony, and I hope you've enjoyed our time together and that you'll come back again soon.